Great. So we are looking at some of the things that we need to be doing as we prepare ourselves for jobs or roles, software engineering roles. So jobs in software engineering companies. What are some of the peculiar things or like some of the basic things that we need to consider, we need to do in order to prepare ourselves for such opportunities should any come our way? And that's what we want to discuss. But as we do all the time, it is going to be, I mean, the moderation is such that I ask some questions, you share your thoughts, your opinions, and if you have questions too, you ask, and we all deliberate on that. So that's the same way we are going to handle today's session. I'm going to throw out a question, and everyone is going to share their thoughts on it. Okay, so what are some of the things that we should do now as students, as people who aspire for software engineering roles or other related roles, maybe DevOps engineering, data engineering, cloud engineering, whatever role that you aspire to do in this tech field, you aspire for in this tech field? What are some of the things that you need to start doing now to prepare yourself? And I know some of us would think, hey, I really don't know. I need an expert to tell me this. But then you probably know or have heard of some things. So, what are some of the things that you have heard of that in order to prepare yourself for a role like this, you should do to get yourself ready for such a role? So, that's the question. What have you heard or know that you should be doing in order to prepare yourself for a software engineering role or any other related role? Yes, anyone? I mean, I think we should even start from a particular order. So, right from my left, the first person here is Silent Assassin. This is your username. It's serious. Silent Assassin, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah, so care to share with us anything that you've heard or know about what one should be doing to prepare themselves for such a role?
Okay, thank you for asking that question.
You're
But
welcome.
on my side, I think I've never done like I've never had any role as a software engineer. Like,
Mm,
mm, I don't think if I'm qualified to answer that question
mm.
because like my answer might just be rumors. So,
Yeah, so that is
personally,
that
maybe
is fine. Like I just want to know what you have either heard or know. So if it is not something you know for sure, what have you heard? Okay, so that at the end of the day we get rid of all the wrong ones, then we pick up the right ones. Okay, so it's not just a matter of what you know, but then what have you also heard if you don't know? Yeah, so if it is rumor or whatever it is, you can still go ahead and share with us.
okay. So what I heard is that at least for you to be a software engineer, you must have some basic skill like in your role you must not know everything but you should
Mm,
at least have some basic skill.
okay,
So what I would say that one should at least have some basic skill on whatever he's gonna do as a software engineer.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Next person here is the username here is LAN12467. That's interesting. Is it LAN or IAN? LAN12467. Are you there? Yep. I can hear you if you are speaking. Your microphone icon isn't showing. It was showing initially, so it's not showing right now. That means if you are speaking, we all can't hear you. So try and check your audio. Maybe you want to go out and join in again. Okay. Is it Motai? I hope that is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Good.
Okay, so regarding the question you asked,
Mhm.
what have I heard ab- regarding what I should know? Sorry, can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, so we are discussing what you should be doing as you prepare yourself for a role in software engineering or any other role, what you should be doing. So, what have you heard about it? Like, these are things that you need to do so that you can easily land yourself a job, like those kind of things. Or what do you know? Maybe you have experience, or you have somebody, you know, somebody who has that experience and they've shared with you. So, we just want to know what everyone has heard or know. Yeah.
Okay, regarding that, so first thing first is, as a software engineer, they believe that you already know how to code and all of these things. From from what I've heard, they are also looking out for interpersonal skills,
Like,
not non-coding related stuffs. So they want to they are because I've also heard that during the interviews they're not necessarily going to ask you most of the things you think they'll ask you. So most times they might beat around and just basically trying to see how expressive you are, or basically trying to see your interpersonal skills and all that.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things.
Great. Thanks for sharing with us. Nana, come, are you there? Hi, Nana. Giant Nana, come, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So, what do you know or what have you heard?
Okay. Um, in order to prepare for sleep, you need to focus on both of them one after the other. You don't need to do
Mm,
everything.
I can hear, I mean, I can hear that you are speaking, but I'm struggling to hear exactly what you are saying. Something with your microphone.
Okay. You can hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What I was saying, in order to prepare for this role, you don't need to focus on what you are saying. You need to focus, rather, you need to rather focus on what you are saying one after the other.
Okay.
Maybe let's say Python. You don't have to have the other programming language. You can do it, but it doesn't have to continue because you get started and you will not away. So what I learned, uh, you don't need to know everything. You just have to learn everything step by step, and that.
Okay. I was actually like still struggling to really hear everything. I heard bits and pieces, and I hope that is exactly what you meant. But then we'll still go ahead and discuss. So let's continue. AY Crown, you're welcome. I don't know if you heard what we are discussing, but then we are discussing the things that we need to do to prepare ourselves for a software engineering role or any related role. So, what are some of the things that you have heard or know of that anyone who is looking for such jobs should be doing now as they prepare towards it? Yes, AY.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
So, as regards to that, what I've heard or what I've seen people share about their stories, that there are two essential things that are important. The first one is technical skills and the non-technical skills.
Okay.
So technical skills being your level of understanding of like the depending on the company you want to apply to,
Okay.
depending on the programming language they use or the concepts they like
Okay.
their framework. You understand? So and by preparation, like you have to have your portfolio, what you have like what you have built
Mm.
in terms of projects, and your project should be something reasonable, something they can connect with. For
Okay.
example, like you want to apply for a job in maybe fintech. So maybe your project should be in line with what they offer as service there.
Mm.
So in terms of non-technical skill, like your communication skill, your ability to cooperate with others, your ability to explain your like thought process in everything you want to carry out and other stuff. So these I just feel I think I can mention regarding to that.
Okay.
So
Thank you
yeah.
so much. So I feel that some of the things that has been said earlier, you have put it together very well, at least in a form that I was looking forward to hearing it. And good, we would deliberate on that soon. Kwabena Bwaje. Hi, Kwabena Bwaje.
Oh, but
It looks like this is the first time I'm seeing you here, I guess. Oh,
yes, yes, this is my first time.
okay. All right. So, care to share with us?
So I agree with what AY Crown said.
Okay.
Uh, I, I've heard about people saying about those things, and most of the time they always talk about those soft skills,
Okay.
those one about communication, problem solving, and all those things.
Mm,
Someone actually told me that most of the time the technical skills are a little bit simpler to get
mm,
than the soft skills because they think the soft skills is more you you need another person to learn a soft skill, but most of the
mm.
time technical skills you can learn it on your own. So that's what I've learned.
That's interesting. You need another person. I mean, you need another person to learn soft skills, but technical skills, you can learn them on your own. Wow. Never thought about it that way. Okay. Yes. Hi, Barokin. Can see today you are struggling with your internet. Oh, God. Hi, Barokin. Are you there?
Yeah, Doc, I can hear you. I think I'll speak later because right now where I am,
Okay. That's
I don't get the opportunity to say what I want to say right now.
all right. Sure. That's fine. Okay. Hi, Adewale. Hi, Adewale. Your microphone isn't there. That means you probably are speaking, but I can't hear you. I hope I'm not the only one. No, I can't hear you. The symbol that would have even shown that you are actively speaking is not showing. So I guess your microphone is not coming through. No, no. So you may probably want to leave and join again. Probably. Can see today a lot of people are battling with internet connectivity. Mm. Okay, so let's see. Probably Adeole would have to join again to get his microphone working. But then before he joins, let me also share I mean, with what you've all shared, it's in line with what I also have heard, have read about, and know. Okay, and where we are able to break it into two main parts, that is your technical skills and your soft skills. And I like the point that Kwabena made, that for technical skills you can learn them on your own, but for the soft skills you really need another person to learn it. And the reason why I like it and I had to repeat it is because as a software engineer, you're not going to work in vacuum. You are definitely going to work with other people. Okay. So your ability to work well with others, your ability to communicate well with others, your ability to express your ideas to others such that they are able to appreciate what you are saying, and your ability to even at a particular point in time disagree with what others are saying and still being able to work together with them, like that kind of thing is very, very important. So in as much as they are hiring you for your technical skill set, they are also interested in whether they are going to be able to work with you or not. So if let's say we are going to be working in the same office for several, I mean, how many hours a week? Several hours a week. Let's even assume 40 hours a week. I don't want someone that I can't easily vibe with. I don't want someone that I wouldn't feel comfortable working with. So when you come probably for an interview, all these things, either consciously or subconsciously, they will be looking out for. Okay, hey, this guy is the type of person I want to work with. I mean, right from the way you start communicating with them, your expressions and all of that, they are able to tell whether you are going to be a good fit for them. Then obviously with technical stuff, they will also have a lot of other things to look at, which we will delve in more. But then I feel that a lot of the times we leave out the soft skills part, and most trainings out there tend to train you for the technical stuff, but then end up leaving out the soft skills. And that is also one good reason why you should be in communities where you get to communicate with others. You get to learn the process of working with others. So every Friday evening, we all jump on here to chit chat amongst ourselves, to express ourselves. Like we are giving ourselves the opportunity to learn, to explain things. Okay, and also to establish that cordial relationship with others. Okay, basically that is helping us also improve upon our soft skills. And I feel that for those of us in the ALS program, the program too has been structured is in a way to help you acquire some soft skills along the line. Yes. So those are very, very important. And then now I think we should talk more about the technical skills. So the soft skills, there are a lot of them, and you need to pick them up along the line. Remember, you're not going to be working in vacuum. You are going to be working with people, so you need to master all those skills. But then, without the technical skills, no one is going to employ you. All right, there are people who are good communicators. They are excellent. In fact, when it comes to personal interpersonal relationship, what have you? They have the best soft skills out there. But if they don't know anything about programming, there is no way you are going to employ them into a software engineering role. You get it? So in as much as the soft skills is very important, in fact it's very, very important, but then the only reason why you will be allowed access into a company for an interview in the first place is if you have the requisite technical skills, or if you portray or you say that you have the requisite technical skill set, then that is the only time that they would open the door for you to enter before they assess you. Okay, so what it means to me when I think about it is, well, your technical skills will get you through the door. Then your soft skills will now determine whether they will keep you there or not. But even for some people, the technical skills like is the first barrier. Okay, is the first means of assessment. We are going to look at, do you even qualify to be here? So let's say that we advertise a role, we are looking for say Python Django developer, and you have no knowledge of it. Okay, maybe all that you know is say JavaScript, and you've come. Okay, some companies may, depending on what experience that you have, they may accept you, but then let's look at it from this angle where we are just looking for somebody who is experienced in Python and Django, and you don't have that skill set. It's going to be difficult for them to assess you in the first place. Okay, so the technical skill set is what will give you the opportunity, give you an opportunity for them to assess you to know whether you are capable. Then, if you are capable, now let's look at whether we are ready to work with somebody like you. And that is when the soft skills come in. We assess whether we are ready to work with someone like you. Okay, so now let's talk more about the technical things and what we need to do to show that these things are what we have done or whatever. I like it when I think AI Crown mentioned, unfortunately, he has dropped off, but he mentioned something about having a portfolio of projects, which is very important. So, quite a few things that you may know, like if you are looking for a job in software engineering, definitely you need something like a CV, right? I believe almost every role advertisements that you've seen out there, you saw that they were looking for your CV or resume. So your CV or resume, you need that. And that means that as we are preparing ourselves towards a role like that, you shouldn't wait till when you feel that you are ready for a role before you start looking forward to preparing a CV or a resume. That means right now, one of the things that you need to start doing is working on a resume. Because if any opportunity comes up right now, that's the first thing they are going to ask you. Send us your resume and let's see, or send us your CV and let's see if you're a good fit for our company. Some others to request for a cover letter, but then the cover letters, you can delay that till you have an offer that you want to apply to, because usually the cover letter is more specific to the company. Okay, something like you're just adding some information to convince them to take you, and you're putting it in the form of a letter. So one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, will be your resume or your CV that you need to get prepared. Then, as a developer, having a GitHub account, very, very, very essential. If you are applying for a role as an engineer and they ask of you your GitHub account and you don't have any, it doesn't necessarily have to be just GitHub. Okay, that's the most popular, and usually that's what they request for. But then there are other alternatives to GitHub that you can decide to use. I think is it Bitbucket, yeah, and there are a few others. Even AWS has their own, so you could use any of them. So far as you have these things, that proves I mean, it shows proofs of the things that you've done or the projects that you've been involved in, that your potential employer can easily go there and go and check the things that you've done or what you are capable of doing. So during one of the expert sessions that we had, I mean, cohort 7 members in ALS, during one of the expert sessions that we had, the guy made a profound statement that stuck with me. He said that your resume tells your potential employer what you say you can do, but then it doesn't prove that you can do it. So that is how come people can easily lie on their resume. But then for you to stand out amongst others, you need to have the actual proof that, hey, I said in my resume that I can do this, and this is proof that I have done it. And I think it's very profound, and every one of us here in this call have to take note of that. So at the end of the day, your resume is just going to tell your potential employer that, hey, I'm capable of doing so and so. Like, hey, these are the technologies that I know, JavaScript, I know this, I know that, I know that. Then even in the resume, okay, let me as we are talking about resumes, let me make a recommendation. It's not just about resumes, but then using LinkedIn as well. So like LinkedIn as your resume. uh, I came across a series on YouTube from one person I follow on Twitter, and it was very, very informative. Where we had, he brought on recruiters, tech recruiters, and they discussed what they actually look for when they are assessing candidates or potential candidates. If you are looking at their LinkedIn profile, what exactly do you look out for? If you are looking at their resumes, what exactly do you look out for? Okay, so let me make that recommendation, and in your free times, do all to watch those ones, listen to them. In fact, even though they are videos, the best you can do in order not to spend so much time or feel like you're wasting time because you have a lot of other things to do is play these videos on audio only mode. Like, when you are doing something, you are engaged in something, you are washing the dishes, you are cleaning the house, or you are stuck in traffic or anywhere at all, you could be playing them as audio only and listening to what they are saying. Okay, so that should be like a habit that we get into, because if you want to wait or you have time to sit down and watch these videos, there is no way you will get that time to watch them, because all the other things that you need to learn are still there that you are yet to learn. So what is the name? Oh, I remember Thompson, but I don't remember his surname. That is strange. Hey, his first name, is it is something D D Thompson, but then what does the D stand for? Okay, so don't worry, I'll try and pick it up from YouTube soon, so that I'll share with you. Maybe if I go to Twitter, I may even see it now. I'll find him on Twitter. Okay, so at least it's good for us to learn from the people who are already in there. And with this same person that I'm talking about, I think anyone who is interested in getting a role in tech, like, he's one person that you should be following on Twitter. Okay, I'm still trying to find him. I'm positive that I'll see his tweets and I'll let you know. Okay, so yeah, back to what, yes, Danny Thompson, that's his name. I just saw his tweets here right now. Danny Thompson. So his handle, unfortunately here we don't have a chat that we can use, right? Is there a chat in here? Yes. There is inbox, not chat. Okay. Anyway. All right. So his handle, if you could write it down, his handle on Twitter is at D Thompson Dev. So how he has it here is the at D is capital D, Thompson is capital capital T Hompson. That's Thompson. Then capital D EV. So D Thompson Dev. That is like Danny Thompson developer, something like that. D Thompson Dev. So do search for him on Twitter and follow him. At least he shares a lot of insights, especially trying to help people, junior developers who are trying to get roles in tech. And he has a series on YouTube that shares a lot of insight into what you should be doing to prepare yourself for roles, especially your LinkedIn profiles and your resume. Okay, so do all to watch. It wasn't only one. I think he has about 5 different videos where he brought 5 different recruiters and each of them shared their opinions on that. So do watch it and equip yourself with that knowledge at least. That out of the way, we've talked about the resume and that. Now to practical projects, the ones that will show that, hey, I said in my resume that this is what I could do for you or I can do. This is the evidence that I have done before. Like I've done this before, so I'm not just kidding you. How do we get those portfolio projects? How do we get those projects and present it to our potential employers? Okay, and I think that everyone, irrespective of which level you are, it should be something on your bucket or your list that, hey, I should be building portfolio projects that would be in line with what I'm looking for so that it will help me get a role as soon as I need one. When AI Khan was saying it, he mentioned that you should be working on reasonable projects, projects that you feel excited to talk about. In fact, the projects that you work on, which are like your personal projects that you work on, when you go for interviews, you're likely going to be asked about those ones. So it should be things that you are excited about talking about, so that as soon as they bring out that topic, like you take over and you begin to share with them knowledge that they didn't know, like, or like talk with that level of excitement that everybody sees it directly through you, that, hey, this guy is really excited about this thing that he's talking about. You know, like there are some particular things that if you're having a conversation with me and you bring it up, you can see that I've lit up. Like I really want to, let's have this conversation. Let's have it because I'm so interested in it. But there are some conversations that you bring up and I'm like, dude, I'm not interested. Like I won't tell you, but at least you can read from my mood that this guy isn't really interested in what we are saying. So that is what you should look at when you are picking projects to work on. There should be things that you're excited about to do. I mean, something that you're excited to talk about. If you don't have these peculiar projects that you can easily talk about, anybody at all will just run up into your GitHub account and say, hey, I saw these projects that you did. And guess what? Like they are going to pick the ones that resonate with them. So I open your GitHub account right now and I see that, oh, you built a simple shell. And let's say simple shell is something that I have always longed to build and I wasn't able to build it or something. Or maybe I built my own simple shell and was very, like it was very educative and everything. Then I start talking to you about your simple shell projects. I asked you, how did it go? How did you do this thing? So this particular error that it gives, how did you correct that error? You see? But then if you were not prepared to talk about it, then you realize that you've sold yourself out. and you're not confident about what you are talking about. You're not even sure because it's been a long while you did that project and you can't even remember the details because you were just doing your master's bidding. That is, somebody gave you that task and you just needed to get it done and you did it. But then when it is something that you wholeheartedly sat down and say, hey, this is something I need to do, and you planned it, designed it, coded it out, and you can talk from top to bottom, in to out, like even when you are asleep, then that is a very good one to do. So yeah, we should look out for projects like that. And if you have specifics with regards to which company you want to join, AY mentioned something about doing something that is in line with the company's maybe products that they are working on. So if company A, you are interested, solely interested in joining company A, like he made an example that if it is a fintech company, and let's say you build something relating to financial technology, you've built a currency converting application, you've built what, like any currency, financial savings, like all those things relating to financial technologies, you've built something like that before, and you can easily talk about it. Then it's like, hey, this guy that we are looking at has experience that we require, so let's bring him on. But then if you don't know of any specifics, then just say focus on things that interest you, things that solve your own problems, because then when you look at the soft skills part, we are looking at your ability to solve problems. So if you are able to prove to me that this is a particular problem that I face and I decided to take it up and solve by writing code for it, then we can easily accept that yes, you did well. I mean, you spent time to solve a problem that you face and you've been able to do it well. Yeah, so those are some of the things that we need to get started doing. And I think, was it last time we talked about some, last week we talked about some of the projects, I mean, coming up with project ideas that you should be doing. But sometimes we feel that we need to get to the point where we are ready for employment before we do this, and that isn't right anyway, because getting ready for a role as a software engineer, the fact is that you never get ready, like you are never ready. If you really want to be truthful to yourself, you are never ready. Why do I say so? I was on one of our live learning sessions, was it last 2 weeks, and a similar discussion came up where I think we're talking about applying for jobs, and they were asking me to apply, and I was like, I feel like I'm not ready. And somebody replied that, you, like, everybody feels that you are rather ready and you should be applying for jobs. Like, some of us are not ready. But the truth is that you always feel deficient, because the more you know, like the more you learn, the more you get to know the things that you don't know. Does that make sense? The more you learn, you start learning a lot of things, you start exposing yourself to a lot of things, then you realize that, oh, there is a lot more things that I need to know that I don't know. And that's how it is. In fact, I think I read about a theory that explains that. I've forgotten the name to that theory. But it happens everywhere, not just in software engineering, like every field. And you see how specialists know just like a lot about a little stuff, but then they don't know more about, I mean, they know just something small about every other thing. Okay, look at it. Let's say, even in health field, like who you call a specialist, let's say a doctor, a clinical specialist. Mostly when you start out, you know a lot of things, then you begin to learn a lot more, like, but then you are narrowing up, and eventually you know a lot more about a particular thing, but then every other thing, so you lack knowledge about. And that's how it is. Like right now, we are being exposed to a lot of things. You are learning HTML, you are learning JavaScript, you are learning C programming, Python, what have you. You are learning all of these things. But then eventually, you are going to start settling to, hey, I want to be a backend engineer, so I don't know the HTML, CSS, I don't need JavaScript, or maybe you use JavaScript. But then you begin to pick size with them, and you focus more and more on a narrow area. Okay, so that feeling will always be there, where you still feel you are not prepared. But the truth is that there are people who learn software engineering or programming for just 1 month, and they get employed after 1 month. There are people who learn it for 2 months, 3 months, and there are others who learn it for 6 months. Oh, sorry, what is this? Guys, I didn't know you were in the audience. What is that? My screen wasn't showing the audience, so sorry about that. I thought they weren't saying. Welcome. I've sent you request. You can join in. Oh, okay. So what was I saying? Like there are people who literally get jobs after 1 month of studies, after 6 months, 3 years, and even some others, even after 5 years, they don't get. Okay, so if you want to look for the right time, I mean, wait for the right time to come before you apply, say, hey, I'm now ready to apply for a job, then you are lying to yourself. That time will come and you feel like, oh, there's this thing that I don't know. Or the interesting part is you go and read recommendations for the job, like the job descriptions, and you realize that they are mentioning a lot of technologies that you don't know, or even if you know, like you're not comfortable to the extent that you can talk about it without, I mean, help. Okay, so what that means is that irrespective of the level that we are in at the moment, we should be like ready. So the basic ones that you know, what have you done with it? That's the point. And that is what will prove that you are capable or not. Okay, so let's not spend all the time trying to just learn so that we get a lot more knowledge, because by the time you are done learning all that you need to learn, I bet you would have forgotten a lot of the things that you have learned, because you just learned them, you didn't practicalize them. But then when you practicalize them and you have some, by the time you build a project, I don't know if they used to say something, when you read it, the level of absorption, when you explain it to others, the level of absorption, there is something like that, but I don't remember the specifics. When you build a project, that the wealth of knowledge you get, it doesn't easily leave you as compared to when you just read about a project. I hope that makes sense. Anyone wants to add to that? Building portfolio projects, the importance of it, and how relevant that is, and why we should be doing it even at this point in time in our career. In fact, we've already started, we are software engineers. Yes. Any other contribution? Any other contribution? No one is willing to talk. Hi, Adeole.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back for good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'll be back for a bit. Yeah, so like just keep on topic, right?
Mm.
So I was talking to Danson and Eric last week. I was complaining. I think I mentioned this to you as well, that I'm not comfortable with some things. I think I have too many gaps in my knowledge,
Mm.
and they told me the same things. They told me what you want to do is have a realistic evaluation of where you actually are, right? That's you test yourself
Mm.
with stuff. And then you find the gaps in your knowledge and then you try to fix them, right?
Yeah.
So if you do an evaluation and you find that you are not good with, for example, pointers and data structures now, you try to remedy that by working on that so it's better, right?
Yeah.
And more importantly, from an employability angle, we talked about your resume, your CV, talked about portfolio projects. Another important part that we tend to overlook is networking, right?
Very
So
important.
being out there, visibility. You talked about Danny Thompson. If
Yeah.
you look at the reason why it's so popular and so visible is because of networking, right? They're
Exactly.
always talking about tech on
Exactly.
different social media
Yeah.
platforms. They're always creating community that they are helping me. They are getting people to tech. They are helping them with resources,
Yeah.
some courses, sometimes even hardware, right?
Yeah.
They are doing physical and remote meetups. They
Yeah.
are doing challenges like, and because they're in the industry, they get new frameworks come out, they test them,
Mm-hmm.
and they then try to get people to come onto these frameworks as well, right? I think a few months ago, we were talking about first kits, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's another part. Networking works on different people have different roles in networking, but you as a someone trying to break into tech, you also want to plug into that, right?
Yeah.
Is because most developers tend to be introverts, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't really like networking aspect, but yeah, you have to do it, right? It's important, right?
Very
So yeah,
important.
then you always come back to portfolio projects, what have you built, right?
Yeah.
And all that now to mention is there tend to be some, I won't say stereotypes, right? But people tend to create the same kinds of projects. If you're doing front end, you want to do a note app, right, or something. Try to make your projects that are portfolio projects a little unique.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to do something that you are interested in. So if you are doing, I have a friend that's doing a data analytics course, right? And we found consistently that he does his best work when he's working with data sets that actually interest him, right?
Mm.
He's a massive chess fan. When he's working with data sets that involve chess, he goes above and beyond because
Mm.
it's something that he's invested in. Yeah. So you should keep in mind that when you want to do a portfolio project or something that you want to use as proof of work, right? You
Yeah.
want to try to do something that interests you. So you would, because it interests you, you'll be able to put in more work. You have more attention to detail. You are more conversant with the actual peculiarities of the work you're doing, right? So
Yeah.
that helps. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to chip in.
Thank you so much. Very important points, especially with the networking bit. So yeah, I there was a survey like that sharing. I mean, even when you are doing the ALS room assessment, I think they mentioned that those figures in there, right? Where they tell you about is it 70% of jobs are not advertised, and mostly with such jobs you only hear about it because internally you know somebody who has the intel and will let you know, okay, or through word of mouth, like recommendations. In fact, just last week, someone reached out to me that in his brother's company they were looking for a backend developer, so he wanted to let me know if I'll be interested in the role. I was like, oh, okay. Well, what are the details? I mean, I'm just saying it so that you know that this isn't like a job that I saw advertised somewhere, but then someone who knows me saw. I mean, he heard his brother talking about it and sees that, oh, there's someone that I know who could possibly fit the role. Then let me talk to that person. Okay. But then unfortunately, that role had already been given out. Or I mean, by the time I got to know about it, so it was late. But that is the point. That at the end of the day, a number of the roles that you see out there will be who knows who. Is that how they say it? Who knows you or who you know? So there are various. I mean, on various social media platforms, tech related stuff, we have a lot of people who are supportive, who care to help others. So I like the point that Adewale was making with regards to how come Danny Thompson is that popular, because every single day he's trying to help people who are struggling with tech, who want to get into tech, because like, hey, this is, I was like you some time back before getting to where I am now. So yes, we all have to get involved in networking. And when he mentioned that tech people usually tend to be introverts, I was like, oh yeah, like that thing is very true. I don't know how many of you here consider yourselves as introverts, but I personally consider myself as an introvert. And it's difficult to go out there and start talking to people or making friends like that. But then, what I found useful for me is I sit behind my computer and I communicate. Like, I sit behind my computer and I network with people, because it is usually difficult for me to go one on one with people. So, what have I done? I've tried to create a community where I get access to a lot of people. I don't have to necessarily go to one person after the other. Okay. There was this guy, I don't remember his name. It's Eric, but I've forgotten the other name. Like he's how is it called? The motivational speaker, like that kind of thing. Or I mean, his own, he teaches speaking, like public speaking, so not necessarily a motivational speaker. However, he's called. I saw him on Mind Valley's YouTube channel, one of their videos, and he was talking about how, as a speaker, even when you are an introvert, you still can take advantage of that, because then you are not holding like conversation with one person, like one on one chats and things, like small talks as they call it. So extroverts are people who can easily hop from one small talk to the other. They are talking to this person, they are talking to that person, they are talking to that person. But introverts usually tend to limit the number of people they talk to, but then they do more deep talk. So when I watched that video and everything that he explained, I was like, oh, okay, then this is one good way that you can reach out to people even when you are an introvert. Like, get a platform that allows you to speak to the masses, then the masses will connect with you, so that you don't struggle to go and connect. Okay, so personally, I see that it is working for me. So if you find yourself in that situation, that is probably one of the ways that you may want to approach it, like being an introvert. But if you are an extrovert, use it to your advantage. If you can easily walk to people and start a conversation, like I mean, even on social media, on WhatsApp, you can just go into someone's DM and hold a conversation, which some of us struggle to do. So if you have that, I think you should use it to your advantage. Very important. But another more important thing, even though it's related to networking, but I have to hammer it, I don't really mention, is visibility. Let people see what you are capable of doing. What do you know? Like, tell people, sometimes, like, we'll say, is it the lizard, that the lizard does not praise itself or something? You don't, I mean, salt, yes. Salt does not praise itself. That's what they say. That's what they tell us. But then if I'm thirsty and I'm telling you that I'm thirsty, like, does it spoil my tastiness? Tasty. Oh God. Tasty is what I wanted to say, not tasty. So if I'm tasty and I'm telling you that I'm tasty, does it spoil my tastiness? I mean, it doesn't. And in the world in which we are, if you don't promote yourself, no one else will. So self promotion is very important. And how do you do that? Share with people, like share with the world what you are doing. So if any of you follow me on Twitter, you realize that I've been trying to do that in my own small way. So let me share some insight on this. I had a previous Twitter account. In fact, I still have that account. And with that account, those times I wasn't really like using Twitter that much. I was just coming to Twitter once in a while to read, and I followed a couple of people. I mean, followed a lot of people, and I had a lot of people also follow me back like that. I think I had over 1.6. I think we even right now I still have 1.6k followers on that account. But then in this year, I think somewhere in May, I decided that, oh, let me start all over, build a Twitter profile that I am proud of, like where I get to talk about things, teach people things. Initially, that was my uh, motivation for starting it. I started writing out things. In fact, I'm interested in digital health, so I wanted to be tweeting about digital health. But then later I realized that I didn't really have content that much to be tweeting as often as I wanted to tweet, and I slowed down. Then when we started this ALS program, and especially I think when I started writing content, I felt that okay. And when I followed a few people, like those tech guys that are on Twitter, who are sharing or shedding light on our past for those of us who are now trying to get in. Like somebody like Danny Thompson, as we mentioned. Follow them, I got to know that no, let me share with the world what I'm doing. So I began from there. And as I said, if any of you follow me on that particular account, you realize that that's basically what I've been doing. Like every single time, like right now, as we are having this session, I may just take a picture of us having the session, then I'll go and publish it and tell the world what I was doing at this point in time. Let people see what you are doing. Then when they need help, I mean, they need a software engineer to do something for them. The first thing that comes into mind is this guy who has always been posting about it. In fact, I've gotten a few people reach out to me who wanted to partner me for their projects, except that I wasn't interested in those specific projects and I had to turn them down. Okay, and the only reason that was possible was because they saw me on Twitter. In fact, one person said that everywhere, like whenever he searched for software engineer or software developer, he saw my content. So that is why he reached out to me. And that was because those times I was posting a lot with those hashtags. So you search for software engineer and you're likely to find my post. So let's do all to do that. I think it helps a lot, a lot. And now any potential employer that comes across your profile goes through it and sees that, hey, this guy is really doing well. I mean, it's not just Twitter, it could be any platform, but then make sure that the visibility is there. And you all can attest to the fact that when I create content, I share them. Like, I make people aware that I've created this content. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to create an impression on your mind that, hey, this guy is capable of this. So let's assume we are not all competing for the same role. And I mean, an opportunity comes up, you are looking for someone who can do it. It's very likely you are going to start thinking about Obed. And this one, it comes from an idea that I got when I thought about billboard advertisements. I used to ask myself why people still waste a lot of money on billboard advertisements when they couldn't reap like the direct benefits. Like, there's no way to quantify how much you are gaining from a billboard advertisement. Like, you put your advert on the billboard, how many people saw it? You can't tell. But then if you did a Facebook ad, you could tell how many people saw it. If you run a YouTube ad, like, you could tell how many people interacted with the ad. So why waste the money on a billboard ad? I used to ask myself that question until I got an answer to it. Then this is the answer. Let me explain it in this way. Let's say Coca-Cola. I think Coca-Cola is probably a common product that everyone here will know of. So let's use Coca-Cola. I hope everyone knows it anyway. Yeah. So if Coca-Cola has a billboard in front of a house or street that I see it daily, when I see it, it doesn't tempt me to go and buy Coca-Cola. So they are not going to reap directly from me seeing it like that. Like, it doesn't happen that way. But then, do you know what is going to happen the next time that I am in need of a drink and I'm not sure which drink to buy, and I run into the supermarket only for me to find out that amongst the drinks there, it is Coca-Cola that I have seen so far. The rest, I have not seen them before. What do you think, or which of the drinks do you think I'm going to pick? At the end of the day, if you think through it, you realize that you are likely to pick Coca-Cola over any other drink. But why? Because back in your mind, it has been painted there. You've always been seeing it. So you've been what? What would be the right word? Because this is not deceive. I mean, they've impressed on you to go for them amongst the others because you've seen them for long. And the moment you begin to see something for long, you feel that it is the truth. Like, what they tell you often becomes your truth. Like, because they said this all the time, it becomes your truth. So on the Coca-Cola billboard that you saw, they said, oh, this and that is good for this, and every day you've been seeing it, it becomes your truth. It's easy for you to accept that yes, Coca-Cola does this. And in fact, I'm using Coca-Cola, but you can use any other thing, like brands, especially brands that you resonate towards, and ask yourself why you resonate towards it. It's probably because a lot of people are talking about it, or you have seen it multiple times, or you have used it once and you think it's good. Like, all of these things influence, I think that was the word, the billboard influence. It has influenced you to go for that Coca-Cola. So bringing it to our case, if you keep showing up, you keep showing people what you are capable of doing, then at the end of the day, All those people that you've been telling, all those people who have been seeing you do the things that you do, anytime they need somebody that does anything like that, you are the first person that crosses their mind. And that visibility easily offers you opportunities. And that's how it works. So let's not sit back and wait till we are ready before we start searching. Then we start looking at, please, I'm looking for a job in tech. Then you now go to Twitter and go and post, can anyone help me find a job in tech? It doesn't work that way. Okay? And even if anyone is going to help you find a job in tech, what influence have you had on them for them to easily accept that you are capable, and for that matter they should recommend you to the other person who is looking for a software engineer? Okay, so actively showcase what you are doing, even if it is school related work. I think a lot of times we make mistakes that it should be something that is big, something that is your own. Before, Charlie, you learned how to center a div. That is one big problem that a lot of front-end developers have. Say it. Hey, today I learned how to center a div. I learned how to write a function, and this is an example of a function that I wrote. This function does so and so. Share it with the world. Like, let the world know what you are learning, what you are doing, and by doing that, you are preparing yourself very well for the future. People are going to choose you. But then when somebody recommends you, it does a whole lot. Sometimes you may not even need to go through the interview process because they've seen what you are capable of doing already. Or sometimes your interview is just formality. Even before you walk into the room for the interview, they know that this is the guy we want to work with. So all the candidates that they are coming, they are just coming because we need to, or our rules suggest that we have to interview people. But then this is the guy that we need to work with. So an example is yesterday, earlier on when I was saying how my week went, I mentioned yesterday I took on a simple project. Initially I was like, let me look for a project to practice JavaScript because it's been a long while since I did any JavaScript thing. So I took a screenshot on Twitter some few days ago about some beginner level JavaScript projects that one can do. I decided to check that out, and I saw this. I saw one project like that. What is quote generator? And I said, "Oh, nice. That would be an interesting project for me to work on, because then every time I would like to have like motivational quotes that I can share to people." Now coming to think of it, I think I have to find a way that I can share to Discord so that our motivational channel will have that daily motivations there. But then what I thought of is, okay, if I could do that, then I could do a search that any quote that is generated, I can share it to Twitter. So yesterday evening I did that, and yeah, it worked. I even tweeted some of the quotes that came up, and I learned, like, I practiced working with an API, getting the response, converting it to JSON, like all those bits. And I'm happy to use the product. In fact, I hosted it, and I did a search that when you tweet from there, you get a link to the source, I mean where you generated it from, so that you can go there and also get some code for yourself, and how to go and read about Twitter and how to make sure that I'm able to send something, the content on my web page, to Twitter as a tweet. Okay, so something like that. I've shared it, like, and I mentioned, like, I tweeted the first quote, and beneath that I wrote that this is a project that I just finished, blah blah blah. I've set up a GitHub account for it, and I've written some small readme about the project, my motivation for doing it, and things. So something simple like that. It's just a single web page, and the API is just displaying the thing, the quote. You click on a button and you generate a new quote, and there is a button that you can use to share. And in fact, very simple. It's not like I came up with the idea myself. I saw that somebody said, hey, these are some projects that you can do. But then I feel that this is one that is relevant to me. I want to be able to share these motivational quotes, and I would want to share it to Twitter. So let me find a way to share it to Twitter. Right now, as we are talking, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we should be able to share it to Discord so that our motivational channel there. So the next thing is I'm going to sit down and learn how do I do it such that when I have a button that can share to Discord, then I go and learn how to implement that. So if ever I'm going to get into a role and let's say it involves building something where we are going to share content directly to Twitter, we are going to share content to Discord. At the end of the day, this is something that I've implemented in a small way. So it's a bit related to what they have done. But if I never told anybody about it, who knows? And who is going to recommend me? So at the end of the day, I actively seek to let people know what I'm doing. In fact, I personally, like, this is not the first time. Almost all these years that I've been doing the things that I've been doing, like, I won't stop to let you know that, hey, this is what I'm doing. In fact, if you have my WhatsApp contacts, of recent times I've even stopped posting WhatsApp status and things. But then mostly if you read my WhatsApp status, it's more about what I'm doing or what I just finished doing or what I'm going to be doing. Get the minds, like everybody on my timeline, everybody on my WhatsApp contact list should know what I'm capable of doing. Let me share like practical experience. I happen to run an agency, and the agency that I run, I haven't gone out to advertise anywhere. I mean, we do graphic design services, we do web design services, and the right likes. But then I never advertise anywhere. Yes, though I get clients coming in regularly. How is that? Because the people on my timeline, the people on my contact list, they all know what I'm capable of doing. And in fact, all of you here know like what I'm capable of doing. How is that? Is it like accidental? No. I'm very intentional about everything that I do. So you see me post things, you think that I how do you call it, like accidentally came to post it. They are all thought of. Like, I need you to be in the known of things that I'm capable of doing, so that tomorrow if somebody is looking for somebody who can do something like that, you know the right guy to call. I hope it makes sense. I've spoken a lot about visibility, and I thank Adewale for bringing it up. So now, in summary, for all the things we've discussed, in order to prepare yourself for a role in software engineering or any related role, well, you need to sharpen your technical skills. Then you need to also sharpen your soft skills. Those are the two major things. With your technical skills too, you need to have a resume ready, right? Because mostly, don't confuse yourself, mostly when they employ you as a junior dev, they don't expect much from you. And a lot of the time you are going to learn on the job. And in fact, all these new technologies they are learning, you may end up getting into a role that you don't need all these plenty things that you are learning. You just need a little bit of it. So don't be scared. Put together your resume and get ready for anything that comes out of it. Make sure that you are publicly displaying things that you are doing for visibility. Network with people, comment on people's chats, like tweets, LinkedIn posts, wherever, whichever platform that you are on. Okay, somebody post something. Or this is what I do. Like, if I see you post, instead of coming to say, hey, nice post, what I want to do is put up like valuable information such that you'd want to check out who is this guy. Do you see that thing? Like, You just comment. I mean, you just wrote something. You wrote a post. There's this guy. I don't know how many of you know him that I follow. He talks about open source. Eddie, I've forgotten his full name, but his community is Eddie Hub. I think I joined his Discord community not long ago. And he posted something. I went to comment on it. And after some few minutes, he came to reply. I'm like, hey, like this is the kind of comments that you want to be passed. Even Danny Thompson, I've commented on his some of his posts before that he has replied. CJ, is this a DS Dojo or CS Dojo? Yeah, CS Dojo is one of the guys that I follow very well as well. I've commented on some of his tweets that he came to respond, you know. So you don't just want to, I mean, you are trying to drive some form of engagement. Let people know who you are. So at the end of the day, you either throw a question. Okay, so instead of just saying nice post, oh, nice post, then add something like, oh, I didn't think about it this way, but could it have been done this other way? Or you add some extra value. Yes, what you have said is true. However, I believe that this can be done this way and not this way. And when you consider this, you've added some extra value. The next time you realize the followers of those people too are starting to look out to this particular person. Who is this person? They click and go and check your profile. Okay, very, very important. So let's pay attention to all of that. Then GitHub. I think some people are obsessed with GitHub. Somebody reached out to me and said that a friend told him that his GitHub profile is not professional enough, so he cannot land a job with that. I'm like, what does it mean by professional? You don't need to have designed your GitHub profile for somebody to consider your profile professional. Your profile is not, I mean, a beauty stuff. If probably if you are looking for a front-end engineering role, you would want to design it like that. But then otherwise, the goal is to it's a place that showcases some of the things that you've done. How collaborative are you with others? Which projects are you involved in? What are you doing? So those are the things that we need to see. Even the simple projects that you see, you can go and check out my GitHub profile and you realize that I have a lot of repositories outside what we do at ALS. Reason being that any small project that I do, I'll put it there, irrespective of how small it is. Those are things that I am doing, I'm learning, I'm practicing. I want to showcase to the world that this is what I'm doing. Okay, and there are free hosting for a number of things that you can do. Like if let's say front end related stuff, you can easily host them on GitHub pages. Yesterday's project, for instance, I hosted it on what's the name? Hey, I've forgotten the actual name. Net what? Please remind me. Anyone who knows it. Otherwise I need to check the name.
Netlify.
Okay, Netlify. Yes, Netlify. Yes, thank you. So that's where I hosted it yesterday. I saw it somewhere. I think I was watching a video and the guy, after creating the page, wanted to go and host it there. So I was like, oh, I'll try it. I created an account that time, but I realized that how I connected to my GitHub, I was looking for a specific directory, but I couldn't have access to that specific directory. So it didn't work for me. So yesterday when I created this one, I created a separate directory for it and I used it to host it. And I have that experience of at least hosting it on that platform. So it's all adds up. But then the end goal is that now I have a URL that I can share with you that, hey, this is the project I was talking about. Go and check it out. In fact, yesterday, immediately I finished, I had a few people on my contact list that I had to share to. Hey, this is a sample project I was working on, and see it and give me feedback. Something like that. Let people know about what you are doing. Network. That is why we have this community. At least when we come, we have conversations, we learn from each other. But then it isn't enough. See the number of people here and see the number of people in the world. The world is the classroom that we should find ourselves in, learning and connecting with people. That's the essence of a classroom. You go there, you learn, you connect with the people that you meet. So the world is our classroom right now. In fact, a lot more people are interested in tech, and based on that, you can easily relate with people. So connect with people, try and help people when they need help, because how you make someone feel will make them remember you all the time. Anytime there is emotions attached to something, it becomes difficult to forget. But if there were no emotions, like it's not about how the person felt, and like it's not an intense emotion. Let me qualify that. If there is an intense emotion, it becomes difficult for them to forget about you. Okay, so you can ask Haruna how he has been struggling, then he'll reach out to me and say, please, I need help with this. It becomes difficult for Haruna to forget me, because he knows that in when he is in dire need of help, I'm able to assist him. Okay, so try and always avail yourself, help others, especially in this community, because you never know who you are helping, you never know who that person can recommend you to. Very important. So I think that we've covered almost everything, but then let's open the floor for everyone else. What have you learned? What are you going to do differently? What did you look forward to hearing that you didn't hear? Let's hear from you all. Yes, quickly so that we end soon. Yes, yes, yes.
Well done, doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you really tried seriously. I'm happy to join this session this evening because personally my social media presence is not even is not that strong, but is almost zero. You know,
Mm.
I just created Twitter, LinkedIn, like when I joined ALX,
Right.
and I've not been posting actually,
Mm.
but I've gone through these the D Thompson
Okay.
dev. I've gone through his YouTube
Oh,
videos
okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just saw that he has videos on how to pimp your LinkedIn. Do you understand how to have
Exactly.
and I was reading through comments and people were saying something like they're actually using like what
Yeah.
he's like he's inviting people to like talk about it, and
Yeah.
they are using what they are saying to like structure their LinkedIn and to update their profile. So I think that's what I would like to do too, because I've been wanting to do it, but like I'll just feel like okay, let me just do it later,
Mm.
and I've not done much on my social media presence. So I
Mm.
think I've learned that it's something I should be working on, and having that channel now, I think it will help me to like go through those stuffs now.
Sure.
So I really appreciate that indeed.
You're welcome. And let me just add this. Yeah, so I also did same after watching I think two or three of those episodes. I had to go update my LinkedIn profile. In fact, I still need to go back and make some changes, because now we've picked out some few other technologies. Then the other thing I would say is you have to choose one social media platform to be like your primary platform. So earlier on, I mean, back in school, when I was trying to grow my social media presence, I was trying so hard to be on every platform out there. So now, if you search any platform at all, you are likely to find me. And it's very draining. Like, you need to be posting. They tell you post how many times or whatever. Like even if it is once, you're posting on Twitter, you're posting on LinkedIn, you're posting on Instagram, you're posting on Facebook. Now they say what's the name of that one? TikTok, and I mean all of those ones. So what you would do is you just choose one primary platform. As for LinkedIn, it's a must-have for every engineer or engineer to be. It's a must-have because that's where most recruiters are. Okay. So what I have done, in fact, I think so far all my social media accounts, LinkedIn is where I have the most followers and the most connections. But then I don't use it. Like when I started, I was using LinkedIn a lot. Those times, I was using it a lot. I was writing a lot on LinkedIn because I like to write motivation and things. Now, because I'm in tech, I'm writing more tech stuff. But I used to write daily, like things that would inspire people and things like uh, provocative thoughts, like things like that. But I've stopped. So I had a lot of, I mean, I think I had about 6K and over followers, or yeah, followers and connections. I have a lot on LinkedIn relatively. I mean lots as in I'm comparing to all the other platforms, but then I hardly use it. Facebook too, I was trying to grow my presence there. Unfortunately, I had a lot of followers on one of my pages. Then something happened. They blocked that page. Was it blocked? No, was it blocked? I think I didn't have, no, it wasn't really blocked. But then I made a change that I wasn't supposed to make, and it didn't work well. The URL, now we could no longer access my page using the URL. And when you try accessing it, it didn't work. So it was frustrating and I ended up deleting that account. I created a new page and I wanted to use paid advertisement to grow it. In fact, it was growing. It was really growing well. I was paying to. I mean, I paid to share the content wide, and people were reaching out. I was getting a lot of people, but then eventually, this Facebook advertisements and their policies. I don't know what happened. They blocked that my Facebook ads account. I had money in it too, and they have just taken my money away like that. So I just forgot about Facebook. In fact, I was even growing the iCreate community on Facebook. I think on Facebook, the community has, it probably has quite a number of people in the group, but then I've abandoned it for some time now. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is that at that point in time, like I was trying to grow everywhere. So it was a lot of work on me. And once you begin to see something as work, it's not easy to keep doing it if it is not paying you. Okay, so I'd rather make it fun than work. So right now, I have chosen Twitter as like my primary platform, and where I just go to. In fact, what I have done and the motivation for creating a new Twitter account as I did was like I don't want my timeline scattered with content that I don't want to consume, because I don't want to come and waste my time scrolling through unnecessary things. So that's why I switched to a new account and I followed only people that I wanted to see content from. And if I'm telling the truth, by now on that account I follow not more than 21 people. I think yesterday I followed someone. So that would be like 21 people. And I'm very intentional about who I follow because I'm looking at, when I come here, I don't want to come and waste my time. When I come to Twitter, I want my feed to be things that I'm learning, so that even when I'm scrolling through them and you see it as you are wasting your time on Twitter, I'm rather learning. In fact, today, Danny Thompson posted something about the Stack Overflow what developers survey, the outcome for 2022. Has any of you seen it? Adeole, have you seen it? The Stack Overflow developer survey. That's the list of programming languages and popularity amongst developers. And today, JavaScript is on top, and I think they said for 5 years consecutively it has been on top. So I even saw on Twitter that JavaScript was trending today. Then TypeScript is like fifth. HTML is in there, and Python is also in there. I mean the top five. So when you see something like this, like you are on social media, but then you are learning. Okay, so that is what I decided to do, and because of that, sometimes I even get people reaching out to me. I just followed you, follow me back. With that account, you are lying. Like, I wouldn't just follow you back unless I see the kind of content you are putting out and I like it. So anytime anybody sends me, I just followed you, so follow me back. The first thing I do is I click on your account to go and see what you are publishing. And if it is not something I'm interested in, hey, hell no, I won't follow you. Like, if you like, unfollow me, because now that account, my goal is not necessarily to grow my following, okay, but then to be sharing the kind of things I'm doing, showing people what I'm doing, and also trying to establish that relationship with people. I comment on people's content, I share, retweet people's content, the content that I like and I want others to see. That's the ones that I engage with, so that when I also come to Twitter, I should be seeing more of those contents and not just any content at all. So that has become my primary platform. And even though I've been doing this, like right now, I think today, my followers counts on Twitter, that account is like 600. Okay, but then it's something that, hey, what am I doing here? I'm just tweeting the things that I'm doing, sharing the lessons that I'm learning, then also trying to engage with people, trying to engage with content that I like, and learning on the platform. That is all. So I don't see it as work. Like, I just go there to relax and share knowledge. That is all. So let me just add that, so that in case you find yourself in the shoes of trying to grow an audience, that should also be of help. There's any final one or two? You have 8 minutes to finish. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Uh, my the last chat you did, I saw it on YouTube,
Okay.
and I told myself that the next one I'll try to be part.
Okay.
So I saw the notification about it today, but actually the topic I wasn't very interested, because I'm a university student. I wasn't thinking about jobs right now. But when I entered this chat, I heard something that you don't have to wait for the time that you want jobs, that you have to look for jobs. So that's the first thing that I've taken out today. That
Great.
I don't have to wait for the time that I want jobs, that I'll start searching for jobs. So, and the visibility part too, I learned very, 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 very. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. And we are glad that at least you didn't see it as a waste of time and you were able to get something valuable with you joining the session. Yeah, so sometimes too that happens. Like, there are times that discussions are going on and you feel they are not important to you in your particular situation at a particular point in time. But I personally too have gone to the point where some of these, if only I have the time, I try to jump in, especially when they are talking about something that I don't know about. Like, I'm not sure when I'll need it and I don't know about it. But then I just want to have some idea of this thing they are talking about, so that tomorrow when I meet it, it doesn't look totally new to me and it becomes easy for me to grasp those things. Okay, so it's also an opportunity anytime you have time, especially once you are interested in this tech field. Anytime you have that time, just hop into any of these like Twitter Spaces, any tech community conversation. There is this community. I don't know how many of you know about it, called 100 Devs. 100 Devs. Lionel, is it? I think that's his name, Lionel. Before joining ALX, it was one that I was considering to join, where 100 Devs is a boot camp, web development boot camp. And but then by the time I discovered it, they had done quite a lot of lessons. Just that they still had the lessons recorded, so you could just go and watch it and catch up with them and join the class. But then because I joined ALS, I didn't follow up. Of recent times, they've been doing more of job search and things like. And anytime I'm in their Discord server, so anytime I see that a session is going on, sometimes I just hop on. I don't talk throughout, but then I hear people sharing experiences, interview tips, what they did, and that kind of thing. And I'm just learning. Even though, let's say, the specific thing they are talking about, I may not be very much interested at that point in time. Like one of the sessions, as for the 100 Devs sessions, they hold them actually on Twitch. So one of the sessions that I joined, for instance, Leonel was teaching how to reach out to people, like when you are looking for job. And in fact, he went one after the other. Like he'll take this particular company. Okay, so I think he had a premium access to Angel List, their platform. So he'll go there and search for job roles, let's say software engineering roles. Then it will pick company by company and look for who to send an email to. Then he will draft a sample email. So he was showing us practically how he's doing this. In fact, even we had access to the Google Doc that he was using. So I am pretty sure when I open my Google Doc right now, it's going to be there. At the time, I'm not applying for jobs, but then I just had to participate to see what or how it is done, so that the day that I'm ready to apply for jobs, I'm like, hey, okay, this is how you do it. In fact, last 2 weeks I went back to it. I wanted to send an outreach message to someone about a potential offer in their company. I saw some health tech company, and I felt I'm interested in them, so I want to send an outreach message to find out if there will be an opportunity for me. The first thing I did was go to look for that document that he created, then take cues from it to be able to write it. Okay, so sometimes that can be very helpful. Yes, 3 more minutes. One last person. Yes, share with us what you learned or an additional thing that you want to add. Anyone? Harina, today we haven't heard your voice. Then line 12467. I think your microphone worked along the line. We haven't heard your voice either. The two of you, any one of you. Let's hear from you. Harina. Okay,
Hello.
line. Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yep.
So it's not Lan, it's Ian.
Ian, asking, is that it?
IAN.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. You
Yeah,
know,
so
okay. Yeah.
has been a great experience, though it has been my first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we met in the PLD that we had earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, today.
Okay. Yeah.
From Kenya, and everyone else is from a different dimension here.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. But at least I've got to learn a lot, and I know where to start from. We'll have a nice experience as we move on together.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you're officially welcome to the community as well. So yeah, that is the goal, that we all gather together, share knowledge and help each other grow. And eventually we'll get there. In fact, sometimes when you are doing this journey alone, it becomes very challenging. But then when you get the support of others, which we are trying to create that kind of support system, then it becomes easy. So going forward, if some people get to experience these interview things and they come to share their experiences, then we'll all learn from it, prepare ourselves and the likes. Yes. So yeah, we look forward to having more of such meetings. Every Friday we have a meeting like this where we take a topic and discuss. Like at least that one is more of a discussion. Then Saturdays we have our live coding session. So tomorrow, God willing, we are going to have our live coding session, and we are still working on our currency converter application. So hopefully we'll continue tomorrow in the evening. Unfortunately for those in the uh, Eastern African time zone, I think it's very late now, but then we appreciate your time for being with us all this while, and hopefully we'll meet, God willing, tomorrow. Thank you all so much. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you. So we'll meet again, God willing, tomorrow. Bye bye for now.
All right.